Once upon a time, there was a young man who loved basketball more than anything else in the world. His name was Kobe Bryant. But before the championships, before the trophies, before the cheers of millions, there was silence. Kobe was not born into comfort. He was not born into praise. From a very young age, he learned something most people never truly understand. If you want to become great, you must learn how to walk alone. While other kids were laughing outside, Kobe was inside a gym. While others slept, Kobe woke up before the sun. Not because someone forced him to, but because something inside him would not let him rest. A voice, quiet, persistent, telling him, "You can be better." But improvement is lonely. No one claps when you train at 4 a.m. No one sees the sweat dripping onto an empty court. No one hears the sound of the ball echoing in a dark gym. Only you and your thoughts. Many nights, Kobe felt alone. Not lonely because he had no people around him, but lonely because no one else was willing to go where he was going. The path he chose was narrow, uncomfortable, demanding, and most people turned away from it. You see, when you decide to truly improve your life, something strange happens. People stop understanding you. They ask questions like, "Why are you working so hard? Why don't you relax? Why are you so serious all the time?" And slowly, they stop walking with you. Kobe noticed this early. At practice, he trained harder than everyone else. At games, he demanded more, from himself and from his teammates. Some admired him, some misunderstood him, some even resented him. And that made the silence even louder. There were moments when doubt crept in. Moments when he asked himself, "Why am I doing this? Why does it feel like I'm the only one who cares this much?" But every time that question appeared, another answer followed. Because average is crowded, improvement requires distance. Distance from comfort, distance from noise, distance from people who are satisfied with staying the same. And that distance feels like loneliness. Kobe didn't run from that feeling. He didn't try to escape it. He didn't distract himself from it. Instead, he sat with it. He listened to it. And slowly, he began to understand something powerful. Loneliness is not a sign that something is wrong. Sometimes it is proof that something is changing. Every empty gym became a classroom. Every quiet morning became a lesson. Every lonely night became a test, not of talent, but of commitment. And while the world slept, Kobe kept working, not knowing if anyone would ever notice, not knowing if it would all be worth it, only knowing one thing: if I stop now, I will betray the person I am trying to become. That was the beginning, before the fame, before the legacy, before the name became a symbol. There was just a man, standing alone on a basketball court, choosing improvement over comfort. As time passed, the silence around Kobe Bryant did not disappear. In fact, it grew louder. You see, loneliness is one thing, but being misunderstood is something else. Loneliness hurts quietly. Misunderstanding hurts publicly. Kobe wasn't just training harder than everyone else. He was thinking differently. While others were satisfied with good enough, Kobe demanded excellence. While others joked during practice, Kobe stayed serious. While others left the gym when training ended, Kobe stayed behind. And people noticed. But they didn't always admire it. Some teammates whispered, "Why is he so intense? Why does he act like he's better than everyone else? Why can't he just relax?" From the outside, it looked like arrogance. From the inside, It was obsession. Kobe wasn't trying to be difficult. He was trying to be great. But greatness often looks ugly in its early stages. It looks like saying no when others say yes, pushing when others stop refusing comfort when comfort is available. And that makes people uncomfortable. Because when someone raises their standards, they quietly expose the limits of others. And not everyone is ready to face that. Kobe felt that tension every day, in locker rooms, on the court, in conversations that suddenly felt cold. He began to realize something painful. The more seriously you take your growth, the fewer people will understand you. There were games where he passed less, moments where he demanded more, situations where he trusted his preparation more than approval, and the criticism came quickly. The media called him selfish. Fans questioned his attitude. Even teammates doubted his intentions. But here is the truth most people never talk about. When you are ahead of the group, you will always look like the problem. Kobe had a choice. He could lower his standards to fit in, or he could keep his standards and accept being misunderstood. And that choice was not easy. There were nights when the noise got loud, not the noise of the crowd, but the noise inside his own head. Questions like, am I pushing too hard? Is it worth losing connection with people? Why does doing the right thing feel so wrong? But every time doubt appeared, Kobe returned to one simple truth. I didn't come this far to be liked. I came this far to become who I'm capable of being. He understood something most people avoid. Approval feels good, but it does not build greatness. Comfort feels safe, but it does not create legends. So Kobe kept going, even when teammates rolled their eyes, even when critics raised their voices, even when the loneliness returned stronger than before. Because now, the loneliness had a new form. It wasn't just empty gyms anymore. It was standing in a room full of people and realizing no one else saw the vision you saw. That kind of loneliness is heavy, but it is also powerful because it forces you to decide, will I shrink to belong, or will I stand alone to become? Kobe chose to stand, not because it was easy, not because it felt good, but because deep down he knew. Every great journey demands a season where you are misunderstood, and that season is not punishment, it is preparation. There comes a moment in every serious journey, a moment when loneliness stops feeling like a wound and starts feeling like a tool. For Kobe Bryant, that moment didn't arrive suddenly. It was built, day by day, rep by rep, hour by hour. At first, the silence felt heavy. Empty gyms echoed with doubt. Early mornings asked uncomfortable questions. But over time, Kobe stopped resisting the quiet. He stopped trying to fill it. Instead, he began to use it, because in silence there are no distractions, no opinions, no applause, only truth. And Kobe wanted truth more than comfort. He started waking up earlier, not to prove something to others, but to prove something to himself. While the city slept, he trained. While excuses were being made, he refined details, footwork, balance, timing, small things, the kind of things no one notices until it's too late. Loneliness gave him focus. Focus gave him clarity. And clarity gave birth to something deeper than motivation. It gave birth to discipline. Motivation is loud. It comes and goes. Discipline is quiet. It stays. And Kobe learned to trust what stayed. There were no cameras in those early hours, no reporters, no praise, just the sound of the ball hitting the floor, over and over again. That sound became his companion. That rhythm became his anchor. Slowly, something changed. The loneliness that once felt painful now felt familiar, even welcome. Because in that space, Kobe was free. Free from comparison, free from expectation, free from the need to explain himself. This is where the Mamba mentality began. Not as a slogan, not as a brand, but as a mindset forged in isolation. It was the understanding that, if I do the work when no one is watching, I will be ready when everyone is. Kobe didn't fear being alone anymore. He respected it. He understood that isolation was sharpening him, cutting away weakness, exposing limits, demanding honesty. And here's the truth most people never realize. Loneliness doesn't weaken you. Resisting it does. When you stop fighting solitude, it stops hurting. When you stop running from silence, it starts teaching. Kobe learned to listen to his inner voice, not the loud one fueled by emotion, but the calm one built by repetition. The voice that said, "One more rep. Stay a little longer. You're not done yet." That voice didn't scream. It didn't rush. It waited. And Kobe trusted it. This is why, when pressure came later, it didn't shake him. Because pressure is loud, and he was trained in quiet. Crowds came, lights came, expectations came, but none of them changed his foundation. Because his foundation was built alone, there is a moment in every journey when preparation meets reality. For Kobe Bryant, that moment came under bright lights. No more empty gyms, no more silence. Now, the world was watching. Pressure arrived loudly. Crowds filled the arena. Voices echoed from every direction. Expectations grew heavier with every game, and with pressure came something else. Failure. Not every shot went in. Not every decision was right. Not every night ended in victory. And when mistakes happened, they happened in public. Critics spoke quickly. They questioned his style. They questioned his leadership. They questioned his attitude. Some said, "He takes too many shots. He doesn't trust his teammates. He's not a winner." The noise was everywhere. But here is what most people didn't see. While others were shaken by the pressure, Kobe recognized it. It felt familiar. Because pressure is loud, and he was trained in quiet. The same silence that once felt lonely now became his shelter. In his mind, he returned to early mornings, to empty courts, to repetition without praise. Those moments had prepared him for this. When fear tried to enter, discipline stood in its way. When doubt knocked, routine answered. Kobe understood something critical. Pressure doesn't create character. It reveals it. Under pressure, some people panic, others hide. But Kobe stayed present. He didn't rush the moment. He didn't escape responsibility. He leaned into it. Because he had already faced something harder than pressure. He had faced himself, alone, without applause, without reassurance. Every miss became information. Every loss became feedback. Not excuses, not emotional reactions. Just lessons. And this is where many people break. Because it's easier to work alone when no one expects anything. It's much harder when everyone expects everything. But Kobe didn't change his process. He trusted it. The same way he trusted it in silence. When the crowd roared, he stayed calm. When the game tightened, he stayed focused. Not because he was fearless, but because he was familiar with discomfort. That's the power of lonely preparation. It teaches you how to breathe when everything feels heavy. It teaches you how to think when everyone else is reacting. In the end, the noise faded. The crowds went home. The lights dimmed, the games ended, and what remained was the man. Kobe Bryant did not measure his life by applause. He measured it by alignment. Alignment between who he wanted to become and the choices he made when no one was watching. Looking back, the lonely mornings made sense. The misunderstood seasons had meaning. The empty gyms were not empty at all. They were full of decisions. Kobe realized something profound. I was never alone because I was rejected. I was alone because I was committed. The path of improvement was never meant to be crowded. If everyone is walking with you, you are probably not going far enough. Greatness requires space. Space to think. Space to fail. Space to grow without explanation. And that space feels like loneliness. But loneliness is not absence. It is presence without distraction. When Kobe stood at the peak of his career, people called him disciplined, focused, relentless. But those words were born much earlier, in silence. The world eventually saw the results, the championships, the legacy. But the real victory was quieter. It was knowing that he did not abandon himself for comfort. And this message is not just about basketball, it is about you. If you are improving and feel alone, if your circle is shrinking, if your routine feels repetitive and unseen, do not panic. You are not losing people. You are losing noise. You are not behind. You are early. One day, others may see the outcome and call it talent or luck. They will not see the lonely mornings, and that's okay. They were not meant to, because this journey was never about being understood. It was about being true. So if tonight feels quiet, if the path feels narrow, if the work feels heavy, stand still for a moment. Breathe, and remember, you are not alone in your loneliness. You are becoming. And that is how legacies are built. In silence, with patience, one lonely step at a time.